Say you've finally decided to replace your air conditioner. You did the smart thing and got 3 quotes, and now you're sitting there staring at them because one company wants $6,000, the next one wants $9,000, and the third wants $14,000. Same house, same job, and every one of them swears up and down that theirs is the one you need. So which number is real? I spent 25 years selling and installing these systems, and I'll tell you straight, most of what separates those 3 quotes has nothing to do with the machine that actually cools your house. Some of that money is worth paying, a lot of it is not. So let's walk through what you actually need when you buy a new air conditioner and what they'll try to sell you on top of it. 3 decisions. Get them right and you keep thousands in your pocket without buying one bit less comfort. Keep one rule in your head the whole way through this. You want to pay for 2 things, the right size machine and a careful installation. You do not want to pay for a fancy name or for fancy features your house will never use. Hold on to that. Now, decision 1. Decision 1 is the name on the side of the box, and this is where the easiest money gets wasted. Here's something the industry would rather you not think about too hard. There are something like 50 air conditioner brands out there, and almost all of them come out of just a handful of factories. The same company builds several names and sells them at different prices. Trane and American Standard are the same parent company, same factories, same compressor inside. The main difference is the badge and the paint, and American Standard usually costs a little less for the exact same machine. Carrier and Bryant, same story. One company, and Bryant tends to run a few $100s cheaper than Carrier for a unit that's identical under the hood. Goodman and Amana come off the same line. Rheem and Ruud are the same maker, and Ruud usually runs 5 to 10% less than Rheem. Quick thing before we keep going. I put all of this, the brand twins, the tier prices, the exact questions to ask, into a short guide called the AC Survival Playbook, and it's over at raydutton.com. It's there if you want it. All right, back to it. So when a salesman leans hard on the brand name, when he tells you this premium badge is worth a big premium price, understand what you're actually paying for. On the same tier of equipment, the name itself is worth maybe a few $100s, not a few thousand. The parts inside are the same parts. Now, I'm not telling you every brand on earth is equal, and I'm not telling you to go chase the very cheapest sticker you can find. I'm telling you that paying Trane money to get an American Standard machine with a different logo on it is money you set on fire. So here's your first move. When you get a quote, write down the exact brand and the model number. Then look up whether that same company sells the twin under a cheaper name. Most of the time, they do. Decision 2 is the one that actually moves thousands of dollars, and it is not the brand, it's the tier. Every brand sells 3 levels of air conditioner, and the jump between those levels is where your quote doubles. Level 1 is single stage. The compressor has 1 speed, full blast, on or off, like a light switch. It cools your house just fine. It's the least expensive, and for a lot of homes it is genuinely all you need. Installed, a single stage runs you somewhere around $5,000 to $8,500 for a typical system. Level 2 is 2-stage. Now the compressor has a high gear and a low gear, and it runs on low most of the time, which is quieter and holds your temperature steadier. That one runs you roughly $7,000 to $11,000 installed. Level 3 is variable speed, sometimes called an inverter. This one can run at almost any speed, creeping along on low for hours at a time. It's the quietest, it holds the most even temperature, and it pulls the most humidity out of your air. It's also the expensive one, $9,000 to $15,000 and up installed. Now those are the numbers for a straightforward swap on a mid-size house with good ductwork. If you need new ducts or you're doing the furnace at the same time, that adds thousands more. And that right there is a big reason 2 honest quotes can come in thousands apart. So look back at those 3 quotes. The $6,000 quote and the $14,000 quote might be the very same brand. The difference between them isn't the badge. One is a single stage and one is a variable speed. That is a real different machine, so that price gap is not a trick. The trick is quieter than that. The trick is a salesman steering you toward the $14,000 variable speed when your house would be perfectly happy with the single stage, and never quite telling you the cheaper one would have done the job. So make him show you all three. Ask him straight, which tier is this quote, and would a single stage cool my house? Then make him answer it. Now, decision 3, and this is the one that keeps me honest, because I am not about to sit here and tell you the expensive unit is a ripoff. It isn't. That variable speed machine is a genuinely better piece of equipment. It's quieter, it holds the temperature rock steady instead of swinging warm and then cool, and in a hot, sticky climate, it pulls a lot more moisture out of the air, 20–30% more, which is the whole difference between clammy and comfortable. Those are real benefits, and for the right house, they are worth every dollar. But here's the part the tablet won't show you. It is not going to pay for itself on your power bill. Let's do that math, since they never do. Stepping up to that variable speed costs you somewhere around $3,000 to $6,000 more, and it might save you, being generous, $200 to $400 a year on electricity. So paying it back on energy alone takes the better part of a decade, sometimes longer than the unit is even going to live. You do not buy the premium unit to save money. You buy it for comfort. So here's how you know if it's worth it for you. If you've got a big house or a 2-story that never feels even upstairs, or you live somewhere hot and humid, or you've got somebody home all day who feels every single degree, that variable speed is probably worth the stretch. If yours is a smaller place, a mild climate, you're gone at work all day, or money is tight right now, the single stage will make you just as cool and keep thousands of dollars in the bank. Comfort is the reason to spend up. A lower power bill is not. If this is the kind of straight talk you were hoping to find before you signed anything, go ahead and subscribe. It helps the next person find it too. All right, the last decision, and it's the one nobody ever puts on a quote. Because here's the truth that took me 25 years to really respect. The best air conditioner in the world, installed badly, will cool worse and die younger than a cheap one installed right. The machine is maybe half the job. The other half is the installation, and that's the half nobody prints on the shiny brochure. So what does a good install actually mean? It starts before anybody even picks a unit with something called a manual J. That's a real calculation of how much cooling your specific house needs, room by room, your windows, your insulation, the direction the house faces. A good contractor does that math. A lazy one just glances at your old unit and slaps in the same size, or worse, talks you into a bigger one which actually cools worse and leaves your house damp and clammy. After that, it's the boring stuff that makes all the difference. The refrigerant charged to the exact spec, the airflow set right, the line set run properly. None of that shows up in the brand name, and all of it decides whether that 15-year unit of yours quietly dies in year 8. So that is the thing worth paying more for. Not the badge and not features you'll never feel. The crew that measures your house instead of guessing and takes the extra hours to set it up correctly. When you're comparing those 3 quotes, that's the real question, not whose logo looks fancier. Ask each one, do you run a manual J load calculation and can I see it? The one who says yes and can actually explain it to you is usually the one worth paying. One more thing worth knowing before you sign, because it costs you nothing and it protects thousands. Almost every one of these systems comes with a 10-year parts warranty. But here's the catch nobody mentions at the kitchen table. On most brands, you only get that full 10 years if you register the unit within 60 to 90 days of the install. Miss that little window, and your 10-year warranty quietly drops down to 5. So after the crew packs up and leaves, you make sure that unit gets registered in your name and you get yourself a copy of it. And on some brands, that full coverage only holds up if an authorized dealer did the install, which is one more reason the cheapest fly-by-night crew can end up costing you the most down the road. Register it and keep the paper somewhere safe. Now somebody out there is already typing it. My granddad had a such-and-such brand and it ran for 30 years, so brands do matter. And I hear you. But think about what actually kept that unit alive for 30 years. It wasn't the sticker on the side. It was a good install and somebody who changed the filter and kept the coils clean. At the everyday tier most of us are actually buying, the twins from the same factory last about the same. Longevity is mostly care and installation, not the name on the label. So let's tie it all together. 3 decisions when you buy a new air conditioner. The name, where you pay a few $100 for a badge on a machine that's the same underneath, so don't. The tier, where the real thousands live, and where you step up only if your house truly needs the comfort, not because a power bill someday might pay you back. And the install, the one thing on this whole list that is actually worth paying more for. So get your 2 or 3 quotes. Make each one list the brand, the model, and the tier. Ask if a single stage would cool your house, and ask to see the manual J. Pay for the right size and a careful install. Do not pay for the name or a fancy feature you will never once notice. Get those right, and you'll buy every bit as much comfort as that $14,000 quote for thousands less. The folks selling you a new system are counting on one thing, that you'll walk in knowing nothing and just trust whatever number they write on the page. You don't have to be that person anymore. You walk in knowing the name is cheap, the tier is the money, and the install is what lasts. I'd like to hear how it goes for you. If you've got a quote sitting on your kitchen table right now, drop the brand and the price down in the comments and tell me which tier they put you in. I'll tell you what I think. I'm Dutton. Keep your cool, and I'll see you in the next one.